The article is written by ex-Chief Election Commissioner SY QURAISHI in the backdrop of huge promises made during the upcoming Bihar elections. Such promises, considered as freebies, reduce the essence of elections as auctions where votes are bid for with treasury money, and fiscal sanity becomes the first casualty. Such competitive populism becomes a dent on the elections, which are meant to be the celebration of democracy. Barely few weeks into the campaign, political parties have unleashed promises worth rupees 8 lakh crore annually, which is more than 3 times the Bihar state budget. The such repeated freebies promises before the elections have become new chapter in the political economy of India, which aims to weaponize welfarism in the disguise of vote buying, and public exchequer just becomes reduced to a private election fund. There is need to clearly understand difference between welfare and freebies. Welfare is a constitutional obligation where food, education, healthcare, and pensions, midday meals are offered, which leads to long-term impact, long-term growth in terms of education, skill, and nutrition level of the population. But the cash handouts, the freebies, are nothing, just a measure to just a way to buy the votes without any clearly stated outcomes. Thus, we can safely conclude that welfare creates capability and freebies create dependency. Freebies fall into two phases during election: before and after the application of Model Code of Conduct. Before Model Code of Conduct, every ruling dispensation tries to rush in announcing subsidies and cash transfer, which is though legal but not ethical use of public exchequer. After the election notification, when MCC is applied, it blocks any new schemes, but election manifestos are out, which make huge promises without any substantial basing in the financial state of the fiscal state of the fiscal status of the state or the country. In 2013, Supreme Court held that in the S. Subramanian Balaji versus Government of Tamil Nadu case, held that manifesto promises do not amount to corrupt practices, though court accepted that they shake the very roots of free and fair elections. So this becomes a loophole which is being misused by the political parties, which is being exploited by the political parties. Then the writer tries to highlight a paradox where under section 123, offering a cup of tea to a voter is during the elections is considered to be a bribery and a corrupt practice, but promise of 2500 per month to the millions of voters is considered democracy. As we said that fiscal stability and fiscal sanity becomes the first casualty of such competitive populism. It has been highlighted by RBI's report on state finances 2022-23, which highlighted that such electoral promises leads to fiscal collapse and shooting up of debt to GSDP ratio as high as 47.2% as we have seen in the case of Punjab, which offers 300 units of free electricity and multiple cash transfer schemes. The next pertinent question arises is who is going to pay for such reckless populism, competitive populism? We must remember that it is neither the political parties nor the politicians who benefit from such electoral freebies. Rather, it is the taxpayers' money, taxpayers of today and taxpayers of tomorrow, who become a financial bloodline for feeding such pre-poll promises. Thus, freebies today are taxation and economic ruins in tomorrow. We must understand that not every election promise or the subsidies are bad. For example, N.T. Rama Rao in Andhra Pradesh reduced the price of per kilo price of rice to rupees 2, which helped in the elimination of starvation deaths. Bicycle schemes in Bihar has led to increased gross enrollment ratio by 30% of girl child. Manrega has provided rural employment security. But the important question is how to distinguish between such welfare and the election bribery. The irony is that such electoral bribery does not translate into any ground impact, rather act as a backsliding impacting on the socio-economic situation of the state or the country. For example, despite such competitive populism and hunky-dory schemes uh, announced by political masters, the inequality in India has risen to level that Oxfam India 2022 report shows that top 1% own the 51% of the national wealth, while the bottom 60% just owns 5%. In the Human Development Index, India ranks 130th as of 2023. 1 in 3 Indian child is malnourished, and 81 crore people rely on free rations. Thus, it is obvious and imminent that India needs job, long-term health investment on education and healthcare, and not such temporary appeasement. Recently, in 2023, Supreme Court has accepted a plea against such pre-poll freebies, in which Justice B V Nagarathna has remarked that distribution of private goods to influence voters must be treated as political but as corrupt practices. The court has suggested a constitutional body to define and regulate freebies, but the case is impending, and the political parties continue to exploit these such loophole in our electoral statute. What we need is on the part of Parliament to amend RPA and criminalize such electoral bribery, which is disguised as welfare. Then article suggests 5-pronged approach, where firstly, such costed manifestos should be mandatorily penalized by election commission. Second, direct cash transfers targeting a particular specific voter group must be treated as bribery under section 123. Third, no new schemes should be allowed to be announced by the ruling dispensation within the 6 months of the election campaign notification. Fourth, parties must disclose whether schemes will be funded by the new loans existing or as existing tax or cuts on the other program. Fifth, welfare linked to education, jobs and skill building should be incentivized over consumption subsidies. In the end, article says it clearly that elections are not auctions and India is not for sale. Democracy would not survive if votes can be purchased legally. And there is need for the larger recognition that there is nothing pro-poor about reckless freebies. It is theft from development, fraud on the future, and corruption on the consent. Corruption of consent, fraud on future, and theft from development. India needs honest welfare and cleaner elections, because a democracy that runs on freebies will soon run out of both money and meaning.